Guys, it's your humble host, or Kale if you prefer. So I'm back with another video for the Family of Five series. So what I've been waiting for to come out has, and we're going to skim through it. Now, I've already read this, and I want you to go read this for yourselves. There's a reason why I'm not going to go through it entirely. Number one, because it's really long, which is fine. There's a lot here and in context. And number two, again, I don't want you just to take it from my mouth. I want you to go read it for yourselves and look over everything with the timeline. So what it is, I'm going to kick over to the other screen. It has to do with a blog that MommyOFive or Heather Martin released. So as I said, we're going to go through it, skim through it, because there's some stuff here that I want to point out. So for the first part, because I'll give you like a brief summary of it, it talks about Jake Martin. For those of you who don't remember who Jake Martin is the eldest of all the Martin children. And he's been wanting to do stuff and talk about stuff for a while. From what has been expressed to me is that the extended family of the Martins has been wanting to say stuff for quite a while. So he hasn't been allowed to, and that's why he's just been able to start releasing stuff. So as I said, we're gonna kind of skim through it. Now let me put out a disclaimer as well. This is not an attack on Rose. This is not a smear campaign. When it comes to the videos themselves, like the prank videos, so a few things, because I have been speaking with Heather Martin and we've been discussing the videos. So those videos, they're a mixed bag of fake, exaggerated, and then the kids just being brats when they were at that age. That is what it is. But so the videos themselves are a mixed bag. Now, were they a good idea to do all those videos? No. And me and Heather have talked about this, where some of the videos went too far, and it wasn't taken into account at the time. This is not me bashing the Martins. This is not me bashing their video making. But as we have discussed, her and I, the jokes of that videos went too far, and it wasn't taken into account at that time how various people of the YouTube community, much more the internet, would respond and how it would look. Now, for those of you who have started to go through the drive, you'll see various videos in there where it showed a whole different side, and the kids are having fun or either upset after the blow up. So, as it's been expressed, because I've heard this said by a lot of different people who have been watching the Martins since the birth of the DaddyOFive channel, which is now gone and defunct, as well as the Family of Five, if you had watched them from the beginning, not just the clips that were strewn together or not just one or two pranks, you would have seen the entire picture. Now, something I'm going to put here, because I may or may not be doing a specific video. It all depends if I get all the proper information. If I don't, I'm not going to be doing this video. But as you guys can already see, because I have a lot of upset people in my comments, not hateful, just to clarify, but a lot of upset fans who have been with the Martins on their internet journey ever since it started, and these people are rightfully upset. They watch someone who they cared for and loved just completely get obliterated. So the reason why I'm talking about this specific video that may or may not come out depends on what I get. Just depends, and depends if that is the right route to begin with to do. There are certain individuals that may or may not have had some of this information from Heather's side. That has been expressed to me. I'm not going to drop names because, again, I don't know if I'm going to get all that information. This is not a video to start drama. This will not be a video to just bash and smear people. This will be, shortest sense of the word, a call-out video, because if people did have the information or pieces of this information that you guys see in the drive, and let me remind you, this is not all of it. There's some stuff, as Heather has expressed also in this blog, that is illegal and too intimate to share because it's the kids' business. Shouldn't be out on the internet. So, if certain individuals had a portion of this information at the time and didn't do anything and instead sat on it because they didn't want to be caught in the quote-unquote, excuse my language, shit seat, we're going to have a problem. Anyway, let's go with the blog. So she also puts out this disclaimer. This is strictly facts to counteract all the lies that Rose and her family have spread against me, my husband, my entire family in general. Now, why is she doing this? So, because there's been a couple questions asked as to why now is she starting to do this? Why am I putting up videos, whether they're mirrors, snippets, the drive? First off, this is so her boys, her other children, Jake, Alex, and oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm forgetting the third one. I'm sorry. But her 3 children that still want to do YouTube can properly do YouTube without all the hate, without all the slandering and defaming of not only them, but they'll be allowed to do so in peace. For those of you who have followed Jake Martin, he's actually starting to dip his toe in music. I saw some rapping stuff. He had released some stuff on his SoundCloud during this fiasco, so he's wanting to pursue that. But with all the crap that's been flying around for the past 4 to 5 years, there's no way to do that. One of the videos that you'll see in the drive is that Jake is in tears. Granted, this is the eldest of the Martin kids overall. He's in tears because kids are picking on him about the ink prank. Now, for those of you saying, oh, well, he's a 14-year-old at the time and he should be able to handle it, you're stupid. You were beyond stupid, because I swear to God, if I see those in my comment, no. His family, he watched, because you can tell he was upset then, he's very much upset now, and there is nothing he can do to protect his family from this. When you're the eldest sibling in your family, and you're seeing your younger siblings cry, and you're seeing your parents just get torn to shreds, I mean, this is true for any child that really pays attention to family dynamics and what's really going on. It sucks to freaking watch. I've watched my family torn to shreds over various things that they had no control over or it wasn't their fault. So, but again, so he's been wanting to speak for a while, but he's been getting picked on. From what's been expressed to me is the Martin boys, again, we have no contact with Cody and Emma. My information fell off 2018. So I have no idea what's going on with them. I hope they're okay. Even in this blog, Heather expresses that she hopes Rose has changed for the better. Let me repeat that. She does not wish ill on Rose or any of the Halls in this blog. She hopes and prays, like we all do, that things have changed for the better for both Cody and Emma and that they are still getting proper care. So let me put that out there. Anyway, going back to this. So, first off, the blog is to clear everything up. So the boys, Jake, Alex, I want to say Ryan. Yes, Ryan. Can probably pursue their stuff with proper supervision for YouTube. Like I said, Jake is starting to do music. It's kind of hard to do that when you're constantly having stuff about your parents thrown in your face. I've been there. It sucks. So there is that. Number 2, this is just to clear up again all the lies that have been up there, because there's quite a bit. Like, for example, Michael keeping medicine away from the cops when they came to get Cody and Emma. That's not true. You're going to see that in there. This is a big one too, is that Michael and Heather wrote Cody and Emma out of their lives after they were taken. This is false. They were told by the courts to remove anything and everything from their social medias that had to do with Cody and Emma. It even got to the point to where they were still doing the Family of 5 videos, the boys were, and Heather and Michael had to make sure there was no photos present in the videos of Cody and Emma. So they were court ordered to get rid of everything that had to do with the other two children. This is by court order, mind you. Another thing you will see is that the other lie was that CPS, or in this case in Maryland, DSS, took the children away from Michael. This is not true. You will see that also in the blog further down. Again, I have read through this. I have skimmed through this. I am telling you what's in here, and I want you to go read this for yourselves. This is why we're not reading through all of it, and it's really, really long too. But going back to the protective order, and Michael consented to it. That document is in there. Also noted, when the first video I put out, series premiere, the very first clip of court document you'll see is that they were removed from Rose. Let me repeat that. They were removed from Rose because DSS did not feel confident that the children were safe. Let me explain why. So, when the emergency custody order that Rose Hall and Tim Conlon had put in, and the children were taken from Michael and Heather. Now, granted, because this also has to do with the medicine, but this is where this medicine part comes in here. I remember specifically reporting on Michael not giving the cops the medicine. That's not true. That was a lie that Rose told me and I repeated because other people started to repeat that what had happened. Because I believe I've talked about this before as one of the premieres. I've explained this to somebody. I know I have. So for those of you who are familiar with those pill boxes are called weekly boxes that are labeled Sunday through Saturday. Michael tried to give this to the cops and, hey, this is their medicine all sorted out. Because it was not in their prescription bottles, the cops could not accept it because they could not properly identify what those pills were. That is not saying that the cops gave anything bad to the police. They needed the actual prescription bottles. That's what they were required to get. They could not accept the weekly boxes. So that is where Rose turned around and twisted it. And you'll also see in there, because I believe this is in the drive as well. I want to say in the court documents or in the supporting miscellaneous folder where you see a letter. You will see a letter from Heather Martin's attorney talking about how they needed to find a way to get medication to Cody and Emma, and that Tim Conlon ignored Heather Martin lawyer's calls. Tim Conlon was constantly they were trying to contact Tim Conlon. You will see that in the court documents. Please go look. Go read this for yourselves. So, anyway, he refused to call them back. He refused to respond back to their inquiries. They were trying to get medicine. So that is also a lie. What is the other garbage that they were talking about? Oh, the Heather and Michael not sending clothes or sending Cody and Emma with nothing. Again, a lie, because there's also a letter in there that Heather had sent in expressing that she had sent clothes, and I believe there's also a receipt. Like I have, and I'm going to ask if I can put this in the video, because I was sent a snapshot of receipts. Heather has a binder. Again, the drive is just a portion of what this woman has gathered over the past couple years, if not before. Of her purchasing clothes for Coda, Emma, school supplies, shoes. She had sent things to DSS. She had sent a manual of their medicines, what foods they like, allergies, the whole shebang. So they did send things. There's a picture. I believe it's also on the drive. If not, I will get it in there. Of clothes, a picture of what was sent to DSS. I believe there's also a receipt. There's a whole lot of things. So, and to answer the question too, because I've seen this, and we're not going to address like all the stupid stuff, because there's a lot of stupid stuff going around. The other reason why Heather is choosing to do this right now is because she and Michael are legally allowed to. Now, something, if you notice at the start of the vlog, because I did skip down to it, Michael is 100% against this because he doesn't want to put his other children through this. That's a whole lot of reason why they shut up, why they just buckled down and took it, because they didn't want to put their children through it. So something I will say, and I'm going to give criticism here because I've also talked about this with Heather, and I'm not bashing her and Michael, so fans settle. But, and she does talk about this in the blog as well, is because they did not stand up and fight like they should have, because they have evidence to do so. They do, and they did. Because they did not stand up and fight, they thought they were protecting their children, but in the end, ended up costing all 5 children. Promises were broken to Cody and Emma about them never leaving, going back to the life that they came from, which, just from the stuff I've seen in court documents, text messages, I've put out a few, and the sneak peek video. Rose, I don't know how she is now, but those text messages, court documents, woman was mentally unstable. Okay? She went after Michael with a knife. That is also in the text messages. You will see that she threatened to cut her own arm open in front of Cody. That is also in the text messages. What else do you got in the text message? Claiming that she had cancer. She was in contempt of court quite a few times, messing with the visitation times that Michael and Heather are supposed to have. Again, this is all in the text messages. They have evidence for this stuff. So Heather can legally now release everything and go, we can finally talk about this. Also, something too that was mentioned in this blog, because you'll see a list of lies right here. The reason why they took, actually, you know what, screw this, because I'm going to find this particular, where is it? Hold on. What I'm doing right now is Control F. And you can use that to find particular words in an article. It's actually quite awesome. Anyway, so I scrolled down here because she explains exactly what they did. Yes, we did. Alford plead guilty to, quote-unquote, neglect of a minor. Alford plead means we maintain our innocence. So they pled guilty, but it's like, we're innocent of the things we're being accused of. So, as she explains, had they not pled guilty, it would have been a whole drawn-out trial, media and all. So that is why they thought it was best to plead guilty, to try to stop everything. That's what the PR firm was for. The PR firm, Heather describes them as being very nice, but that video that they had put out, even she goes, that wasn't the best. No, I'm not knocking the PR firm. Neither is Heather, but as I said, was expressed, that video was not the best idea. Possibly another video that could have been put out. I don't know. It's neither here nor there anymore. So that is why that they are doing it. Now, there was something else I wanted to touch upon. Oh, yes. So going back to the protective order, because I know I'm all over the place, there's a lot here. So when Michael consented to the protective order and DSS removed the children from Rose, Michael consented not because he's trying to keep the children away from Rose, but because he's trying to give the cops more time to investigate. As we've seen from the text messages, it's all there. Rose had a couple of problems. So with the text messages, and Heather hints at something happening that made Michael very scared, both her and Michael scared, to kind of send Cody back going, you know what, we need to investigate what is going on. So, and even after the YouTube blow up, there was still some funny stuff because the children, let me explain this too, the children were changing their stories. So with Cody and Emma, there was one set of stories that both of the children were telling. And it was talking about what was actually going on in the Martin house, from the videos to the fun times they had, everything. It was a clear-cut story. When the emergency custody order was granted and they went with Rose for 1 week, the stories, as was expressed to me by Heather, had started to change. Emma started to change drastically. Cody started to change here and there with what he was telling. So that's when DSS went, you know what? Hold up. There's something going on. We're pulling the kids. And Michael, again, consented to it. He was not forced. They were not court ordered to remove the children from Michael and Heather. He consented. So the cops and DSS had more time to investigate. It was also told to him that if he agreed to it, he would be able to see them. So, but again, for those of you who are asking, because I had this in a few of my comment sections, will a court really grant someone no visitation and still have them innocent? Yes. Welcome to family court. It is a literal hell. I have two cases that I'm still helping with, where the courts have been a total disaster. For those of you who've been following, and I'm not trying to overtake this video with another one, but for those of you who've been following Save James, that's a perfect example. You have another messed up one here in Illinois, Justice for Carr's Kids. So those are just two examples, two different extremes of, yes, family court is hell. Welcome to it. Rules to family court? There are no rules. The judge and lawyers just do whatever the hell they want. So that is as true as it gets. Some people get lucky if they get a reasonable judge, and if they get a good lawyer that will actually have the spine and teeth to actually go to bat for them. So yeah, that is a reality. Welcome to it. Hopefully a lot of you have not had to go through it. And for those of you who had, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so what else? What is another highlight from here? She thanks her fans for being loyal. Oh, that is a big one, because here's the thing. I'm knocking. See, when I first started talking to Heather and I got given the drive, there's a document I realized I had, and because this was my first time ever messing with any of this, there was something Rose stupidly gave to me. Yes, because it was stupid, but in the hands of a naive person, I don't know what to do with it. It was a order from February 12th, 2016, where Rose signed over custody and conservator. Let me explain the two for those of you who are just new to this stuff. Conservatorship is when a parent or parents get full medical say, location, school activities for the child or children in question. That is conservator. All the decision makings for the child or children. Custody is where the child goes and stays, whether it's 50-50, child stays with one parent half the time and stays with the other one the second half, or 80-20, to where the child is over here for the most part, but parent has visitation, or the child goes and sees the second parent every other weekend. So that is the difference. So this order, what Rose did, and you will see this also in the court documents, again, that is February 12th, 2016, to where Rose had signed both conservator and custody over to Michael and Heather Martin, and Michael had to agree to one thing, because it was about money for Rose. I'm not kidding. If Michael agreed to let Rose claim, I believe it was Emma, on her tax returns, you will see that in the court documents. That is in there. So it has always been, let me talk about my experience. Again, this is not bashing, but for those of you who are around for a channel called the Kumite, let me see how much time, because I didn't want to make this too long. Okay, we're 24 minutes. For those of you who remember the channel, the Kumite, and how this blew up, and me and Joy got together and released a whole separate drive. You guys remember that? Because that drive is also linked below. And Heather went and gathered this stuff too. So anyway, with the Kumite, all this stuff blew up. Me and Joy were at it, and it turned into a hot mess. Even at that point, because I have my own spreadsheet or list of just my DMs with Rose of how many times she kept asking me for money. Whether it was, hey, I need you to fundraise this. Oh, hey, I lost money over here. And you can see the text messages also between Joy and Rose, how Rose kept pestering Joy for money. Joy was paying for her hotel and kept sending her money. So again, I'm not trying to turn this into a bash, but it's always been about money. And the fact that, and I don't want to put it this way, but this is how it sounds. You have a parent who is willing to sign over full custody and conservatorship rights over to the parent if she gets to claim the children on her tax return. What does that sound like to you guys? Like, and I'm not trying to put anything in the air that's not there, but you know how messed up that is? How really messed up that is? And she also did not want to have contact with the children unless they were really sick. So I don't, no. There's also another YouTube channel I'm also going to put in the description, Sipping Tea. So Sipping Tea was a channel that appeared after the initial blow up and started to tail Rose for a little bit. I'm not talking about stock, but they had been watching what had been going down for a while, and they started to release some things as well. And I don't know if they're ever going to release anything again, but I'm going to put their channel in the description as well, because they did 2 videos. Part of one was calling me out, which is no big deal. It is what it is, and yeah. Second one though kind of follows Rose after she got Coda. Why do I keep saying Coda? Cody and Emma, and to where it got to the point to where after Jim, because if you guys remember who Jim is, it was revealed during the Kumite that Jim had some issues on his own, which you will also see in the court documents and the police reports as well. There was past issues with Jim. So again, this is not a bash video, but this is a factual video because there's a lot of stuff that was not seen, and I don't know if this is the only blog post that's going to be released. And again, there's a lot here. I want you guys to go read everything in there in context. And actually, I'm going to click this real quick, see if I can get this to open. Give me 1 second here. See if this opens. Okay. So, order for permanent custody. So as I said, and this video is already long, I was trying to keep it short. I do apologize, but again, I do apologize if it's all over the place as well. There's a lot I want you to go look for in context. Go look. Order for permanent custody. Drawn up out of court by her attorney, Mom and Dad never had an in-court battle. So they never actually had a hearing. Everything was done through the lawyers. How many pages is this? Because I don't want to... Okay, it's only 5. This cause coming on to be heard before the undersigned district court judge presiding on the plaintiff and the defendant's claims for modification of child custody. Again, this was put in by Rose Hall. And it appeared to the court that the plaintiff, Rose Elizabeth Hall, was represented by this lawyer. Some of the stuff is redacted. And the defendant, Michael Christopher Martin, defendant, was represented by redacted. It further appeared to the court from the signatures of both parties and counsel that plaintiff and defendant have reached an agreement, which is, by the way, again, as I've stated, what does that sound like to you? That's a rather messed up agreement. Like, I'm not talking about on Michael's end, I'm talking about on Rose's. Like, wow. The specifics of which set out here and after concerning permanent custody of their minor children, and that with the consent of the parties, here too, the court makes and enters the following. Findings of fact. Plaintiff is a citizen and resident of Redacted, North Carolina, and has been a citizen and resident of North Carolina for the 6 months immediately preceding to the institution of this act. Defendant is a citizen and resident of Redacted, Maryland. The parties are not married, but are natural parents of 2 minor children, namely Coda Marie Martin, born Redacted, and Joseph Martin, born Redacted. Defendant is capable of meeting the special needs of the party minor children. And by the way, you will also see in the text messages, Rose asking Heather to take Cody because she could not handle him. And as you've seen from the little snip videos that are also in the drive, by the way, Cody broke down and it just talks about how Rose treated him horrible. There's talks, I believe it's in the text messages and other documents, of how Cody was constantly referred to as a psycho by his mother, Rose. So, and let me also point this out too, while we're on this document. When you have a child who calls a step-parent mom willingly, that speaks volumes. Heather never forced Cody or Emma to call her mother. They did so on their own because they felt safe with her and comfortable. Also, as Heather expressed, is that at first they were calling her Heather or Mama Heather, but it just kind of turned into Mom, which is a lot more personal, a lot more intimate, saying, yeah, no, you're my mom. I feel like you're my mom. Oh, what else is in the text messages? Because there is a lot in there talking about how she couldn't handle Cody, that she really didn't have any contact with Cody. She was more obsessed with Emma, which is really weird. So, but anyway, let's continue to this, because, yeah, that is all in there. That's all in there. Plaintiff is unmarried. Defendant is married to Heather Lynn Martin since January 18, 2014. Plaintiff and defendant consent to the entry of this permanent custody order. Plaintiff and defendant voluntarily stipulate to agree upon and consent to the previous provisions contained herein and entry of this order for permanent custody in a way for the findings of fact. Let me also point to plaintiff. This was put in by the plaintiff, Rose Hall. Again, because I swear to God, if I hear the argument, these court documents are forged. Do you know how illegal that is? It is freaking illegal. Look. Oh, she actually redacted this. These documents should be public knowledge. Usually when I get a little court documents, I don't redact them, but these were given to me, so I'm not complaining. I was going to say, you can go find the case number to see if I can actually put that out there. We'll see, though. Possibly not. Already read that. Conclusions of law. Plaintiff and defendant are properly before the court. The court has jurisdiction over the parties and the subject matter herein. Also, you can put in filings and have filings responded to by the court and the judge without ever going before the judge physically. That is a thing that happens in family court a lot. Sorry, I'm just like, oh my gosh. The court has jurisdiction over the parties and the subject matter herein, and there exists facts justifying this court to assume jurisdiction to determine the permanent custody of the parties' minor children pursuant to the provisions of NC Gen Stat. It looks like it's a family code. Defendant is a fit and proper person. Oh, hey, look, he was fit. He still is fit. That's why the other children are still with him. And also, I want to touch upon that too, because Rick Zopp is the name of Heather's ex-husband. Notice how he never came in and tried to get custody of the boys, because Jake is biologically his and Alex is biologically his. I believe, if I remember correctly, Ryan is biologically Michael's and Heather's. Because there were people, and I'm not knocking them, there were people who were trying to reach out to Mr. Zopp. So, but he never responded. He never reached out. He never tried to get custody of the boys at all. Let me also present to people, and this was expressed to me, and I don't know if Jake is going to be allowed to speak on this a bit more, as this is more of his story. So he would have a lot more say over it than I would, and can tell a lot more about it. The boys requested for their last names to be changed. Let me also point out to everybody is that in the videos, all the boys call Michael Dad. Again, when you have step-parents and stepchildren involved, and the stepchildren refer to their parents as actually mom and dad, it speaks a lot. I technically have a step-parent. I never saw this parent as a step-parent. And so the word step never came into the equation. It only came into the equation for legal and school paperwork and anything else that required that name to be there. Or, excuse me, that label. So that is also something to take into account too. Is the other parent, Rick Zopp, never came in and tried to grab the boys. Why? There was no need. And also something too, let me point out, because this is always an option as well, is you can have a case to where DSS, CPS, whatever the children's organization is called in that particular state, because there's different names per state. Like Illinois, you have DHS, I believe, where they will pull the children from both parents and put them in the system. Notice how that did not happen either. For those of you who have any experience with custody cases, whether that's legal, being a part of them yourselves, helping someone out, and again, I have no legal bearings or standings, I'm just a YouTuber. But at the same time, I think I have gained just a little bit of experience and can talk about this just a little bit with some credibility. So again, if there was actual abuse occurring in the home, don't you think DSS would have stepped in and went, hey, we need to put these other three in the system? Just a thought. Again, I had no experience with this stuff when I was working with the DaddyOFive, the stuff that I was told and fed and the various bits of information I was given. No, and here's the thing, it did take a while for me and Joy to sit down because we fought like really bad for a year, and once we started to put the pieces together, it's like, oh crap. So there is a snapshot, and we'll get back to this here in a minute. There's a snapshot of when I found out after speaking with Joy and seeing her part and me showing her my stuff. I had sent a screenshot to Nick Monroe, trying to pull him into a call, a Google Hangout, going, hey, we got messed with. I need you to call me, like now. So that was a total disaster trying to get him to correct some stuff, which, by the way, something I did get notified of today is that Heather did try to reach out to Nick Monroe, the same dude that kind of chickened out when I tried to get him to write a redacted story for Joy because, not redacted, or retraction of the various articles he had put out against Joy Sparkle BS. So that didn't happen, and the only thing he really did, and I told Heather this is all you're gonna get from him, is that he had put a link to her blog on his article that he had written years ago. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let's continue on because this video is going long enough. We're at 40 minutes here, but so yeah, just to kind of give you a heads up, the dude that was writing various articles, yeah, I can't deal with cowards. They make me angry. Per plaintiff's request, plaintiff shall not have, again, plaintiff is Rose Hall. Rose Hall filed this, not Michael. Plaintiff's request shall not have any visitation with minor children. Per plaintiff's request, the parties shall not contact each other directly or indirectly through third parties or other family members. However, defendant shall notify plaintiff of any serious life-threatening emergency medical treatment of the children. Let me point out, for those of you who do not understand what that's saying, pretty much Rose told the courts, I don't want to speak with them. I don't want them speaking to me, third party, directly, phone, email, nothing. I want nothing to do with them. Michael, let me claim them on my tax returns and you can have full custody and conservatorship of them. How that is so beyond messed up, and I cannot iterate that enough. Okay, so let's continue. Heather Lynn Martin, defendant's wife, may operate freely as a co-parent on behalf of defendant and may authorize medical treatment for the minor children as needed. So the courts, let me point this out too, the courts granted Heather conservatorship rights. She is a step-parent, legally speaking, but she was given conservatorship as a co-parent. That's very important for you to absorb. Again, let me reiterate what a conservatorship means. It means you get medical, location, activity say over the children. This was granted to Heather. The court's going, yeah, okay, here, you can have this. So that's very important. I got something in my mouth. As of June 1st, 2016, the minor child Emma will have resided in Maryland for 6 months, and after that date, jurisdiction of this action shall be transferred to Baltimore County, Maryland. So, at the point of this filing, or this response, Emma, because you'll see through a series of texts as well, that Emma was with the Martins at this time. And so it has documented she was with the Martins in Maryland for 6 months. Upon entry of this order, plaintiff's attorney has completed her responsibilities and is hereby released and discharged as attorney of record for plaintiff. So Rose / the court released Rose's own attorney because she had served her purpose. Rose was not going to continue this. So when the media blew up, that is when Rose really started to engage. And it also talks about, because I'm going to go back over here real quick, because it talks about how the Martins, Michael and Heather, were constantly called on, and DSS was called on to investigate them. So I'm going to read this little bit, because this is after Coda and Emma were permanently released to the Martins. December 2016, after moving to Frederick County, when were all investigated by DSS, they cited the slap video and the bookcase video. So the slap video, let me explain it because I've talked to Heather about that one. And there's actually a couple of videos to where I know people are really questioning, and those videos I've actually been gathering. I don't have the slap one, but that has to do with Alex. The other two videos that people are citing have to do with Alex, and I'm not bad-mouthing Alex, but Alex was at an age at that time where he was just being a butt. Okay? So, let me explain. That slap video, Emma and Alex were playing a game. Alex took it way too far. So as I explained with the videos, nobody's defending the videos. Some of those videos went too far with their pranks, and there's some content that should have been put out, period. This is something me and Heather have discussed. I'm not bashing her. I'm not bashing Michael. So please do not think this is what that is doing. It's just fair criticism. That's all that is, as we've discussed this a couple times already. So anyway, Alex took it too far. In the other videos, because Alex is just kind of, again, he was at that age, it didn't look like he was having, I guess, the best of time, or he wanted to do a skit. Something that Heather explained to me is, because the videos were mixed bag, there are times where some of the kids wanted to do a normal video, and the other times, the other kids wanted to do a skit, and so they didn't always agree, and that's why you have a mixed result. So the slap video, that was an actual slap, but that was not That was not coordinated by Michael. That was Alex taking something way too freaking far. Let me repeat that. That was Alex taking something way too far. As you see those other two videos, that was also Alex taking things too far. Again, I'm not trying to come down on Alex. Again, I don't know what age he was at. Maybe 10 or 11, a little bit older, preteen-ish, to where he was just kind of having an attitude, and there's kind of mixed signals among the children. So nobody is excusing that slap. No one is calling that fake, but that was Alex taking things too far. So anyway, the bookcase video, and I am trying to see what is still available in regards to the old behind the scenes videos. From what I understand, because the Martins were so traumatized by what had happened, a lot of this stuff either got destroyed or, from what I understand, a drive got corrupted. So the bits that I have now are from what has been able to be recovered. And again, there is a lot here. So let's continue with this. And I'm going to try to wrap it up because we're going past 40 minutes at this point. The bookcase video, basically all the videos used in Phil DeFranco's first video, with the exception of Ink Prank and the videos filmed at the previous house and up until that point, it was determined that they were distasteful, as me and Heather have talked about. A lot of those videos should not have gone up, but not abuse. And they talked to all the kids, and we toned down everything. The kids had the best Christmas ever that year. That was a memory I will cherish forever. Material things are not everything, but to be able to not only give our kids the Christmas they've always deserved, but to help other families, it was the best year of our lives. Let me also talk about the Disney thing real quick before we wrap this up, because I've also spoken to Heather about that as well. Before Disney, we made a week's worth of videos in a couple of days, 2 to 3 others, the same night as the Ink Prank. I know people like to kind of debunk the behind the scenes video for that one because they're like, oh, they changed clothing. That doesn't debunk the entire video. It really doesn't. The Watch Your Mouth was made right after the Ink Prank. Cody and Alex were perfectly fine and were all happy and having fun. No one was traumatized. There's also what I showed too of Cody talking about the Ink Prank. That was my last video. April 2017, we left for our Disney, leaving Cody home, which in hindsight was literally one of the biggest regrets of my life. That had nothing to do with punishing Cody. No. Had I known then what I know now, he would have went no matter what I had to do to ensure his safety. So let me explain, because I've spoken to Heather about this. And Cody, they wanted to ensure the safety of Cody. He would take off, like a lot of children do, but because he has ADHD, he would take off and Heather and Michael couldn't find him. That's not to say that they lost him, but they didn't want him taken off in the park. So here's the plan. Here's how it was supposed to go down before this entire thing went to hell. Is they were to take the other kids, and because they wanted to also take Cody, they were planning, as she mentions here, to take him not only into Disneyland, but this was around the time of YouTube's own convention called VideoCon. Now, if I get a hold, because I did ask her about it, if she still has the ticket, if not a receipt to. So if I get a hold of that, that is going to go in the drive if I'm able to get my hands on that. But I guess they turned it into a skit, which was something with wiping fecal matter all over the walls. Again, not the best decision to turn that into a skit, but that had nothing to do with the real reason as to why Cody didn't go to Disneyland. Again, Michael and Heather had very much planned to take him to not only Disneyland, but to VideoCon. That did not happen because all this blew up. Because I know the Disneyland thing was huge, and there was even fan art and all that stuff. So Anyway, the kids all talked to DSS and to the cops, and none of them were removed or thought to be in intimate danger. That is also a thing to pick up on as well. None of the children got removed immediately. None of them at all. The only thing that really happened was an emergency custody order where the children were given to Rose, but they only stayed with her for a week. A week. And again, family court is hell. So the judge, because from what I am understanding from what was expressed, is Tim Conlon, because I know 2 other YouTubers who were involved in that, Joey Sparkle BS and Suit Yourself at the time, had prepared this huge roll of videos, like the clips of all the pranks, smashed into one video. That was given and that was used in court by Tim Conlon. But the Slimy did not present any of the court documents of the permanent custody order. It was just shown the videos of the pranks, clips of them. That's it. So, in my opinion, the judge that was in this case, I don't know anything about, but wow. And here's what I don't understand, because you can also file what's called an ex parte, to where the other party really isn't aware of it, and you can look up more details. I'm just giving a very generic and brief summary of what an ex parte is. One party can file it and have something go through without this being known to the other party. Therefore, the emergency custody order was filed ex parte. So, protective order as well. Anyway, mental evaluations were done. Again, there's a lot here, and I'm sorry if I rambled in this video, and I try to keep it short, but, that didn't happen. Just the conversations I've had with Heather, the stuff I'm still seeing. If I get my hands on more stuff, I will put it out. Let me also put this in the video, and also I will put it in a pinned comment in the comment section. I'm not an agent of anybody. I'm doing this on my own free will, my own volition. I didn't get threatened with legal action. I didn't get threatened with anything. I actually received an email from Heather, and I will say, because I was just going through my emails on my off day, wasn't really feeling the greatest, and I was looking for something, and I came across it, and my initial response to the email is I was not happy seeing it, going like, oh, no, what is this? Is this somebody pranking me or so? But I read it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot, because that mess was just nuts. And then the stuff that happened with Rose. So, got on the phone, we spoke, it was a pleasant conversation. I was handed the drive, and I turned a 180 going, oh my gosh, what have I done? And it wasn't, again, but at the same time, I am not the only one that had a hand in this, but I was one of the main ones, unfortunately. So I'm trying to rectify that. I know many of you are still very much angry with the results, should we say. I am doing my best, and hopefully we can get some bigger voices on this, because I'm just so little, and we could really use a bigger voice on this. But anyway, so yeah, once I saw everything, a portion of everything, plus a little bit more, and there's still more, some of which is never going to get released to the public, because again, that's too intimate, too private. That is the children's business, and it does not need to be out there for everybody to see, pick at, and poke. I am now trying to do my best to rectify a situation to which is way over my head. During the initial DaddyOFive stuff, I was working with a group. 1, 2, 3 main individuals, including Rose, and then we had other people chip in and help, and so I do not have that type of help again. This is me by myself doing what I can. That's not a bragging. This is really surreal. I don't know what else to say. I can't apologize enough. I can't give those 5 years back. I don't know if this is going to bring about anything. As I've been telling people, though, and my channel's been through some crazy stuff, is I will do whatever I am enabled by God to do. So that is my promise. I can't promise anything, but so far, right now, this is what I can do. This is what I've been able to do at the moment. So if something else comes up, I'm able to do it, I will do it. So you have my promise on that. Anyway, I will put this blog in the description for you guys to read. Please go read it. Go see for yourselves. There's a lot there. A lot of context there. There's just a lot. Links are going to be in the description below. Go check out JMARTIN's music. As I said, this is one of the reasons. So her boys, Michael and Heather's, their children, can do stuff peacefully with some clarity and peace of mind if the truth has been out there. So go check that out. Go please look at the drives because there's a lot in there. I can't reiterate that enough. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful one, and if there is another posting or if something else comes out or if I'm giving more, I will more than willing show that. So you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.